No one had spoken my real name in 730 days. Hearing it now, dripping from his lips in the dark of my apartment, felt like a physical blow. It didn't sound like a greeting. It sounded like a claim. A brand pressed directly into my skin. I pressed my spine so hard against the front door that the metal deadbolt bit into my shoulder blades. There was nowhere to run. My keys were on the counter, miles away, and the lock was engaged. He finally stepped out of the suffocating pitch black of my bedroom. He didn't rush. Predators never do when the trap is already sprung. He moved with that terrifying, liquid grace I used to dream about when I woke up screaming. The amber streetlights from the window slashed across his face, catching the sharp, cruel angle of his jaw. He was wearing a tailored black suit that cost more than my entire miserable existence in this city. He looked exactly the same as the night I left him. Beautiful. Lethal, utterly ruined. He stopped a few feet away, his dark, bottomless eyes pinning me in place. The air between us cracked with a heavy, static electricity. I expected violence. I expected him to drag me out by my hair for what I stole from him. For the Empire, I nearly burned to the ground just to buy my freedom. But he didn't raise a hand. He just smiled. It was a slow, devastating curve of his lips that made my blood run entirely cold.
He told me I looked tired. He murmured that the cheap blonde hair dye didn't suit me, that hiding in a damp, miserable box like this was beneath a queen. His voice was a low, melodic hum that vibrated straight through the floorboards and into my chest. God, I hated how my body reacted to it. The treacherous, shameful thrill that mixed with the ice-cold terror.
My voice finally broke through the paralysis. It came out as a fragile, broken whisper, begging to know how he found me. I covered my tracks. I burned the passports. I did everything right. He didn't answer. Instead, he reached into the inside pocket of his jacket. My breath hitched. I braced myself for a weapon. A syringe, the cold metal of a gun. But he pulled out a thick stack of glossy photographs. With a flick of his wrist, he tossed them onto the cheap wooden coffee table between us. They fanned out perfectly. Dozens of them. Pictures of me, buying coffee in the rain at the corner bodega, walking into the library, unlocking this very door. And then pictures of me sleeping, taken from inside my own bedroom. My stomach plummeted into an endless void. The timestamps glowing faintly in the corners of the photos weren't from yesterday. They were from 5 months ago, 4 months ago, last week. He closed the remaining distance between us in a single, terrifying stride. Suddenly, he was everywhere. His broad chest hovered mere inches from mine, trapping me completely against the door. The heat radiating off his body was intoxicating.
He leaned down, his lips brushing the sensitive shell of my ear. His breath was a velvet thread against my skin. Did I really think I had escaped him? He whispered, the words wrapping around me like a silk noose. He told me he had been watching me since the very week I arrived in Seattle. He knew my fake name. He knew my pathetic little job. He knew the barista I smiled at every morning. He just let me play house. He let me taste freedom until he got bored. And as his hand came up to wrap gently, possessively around my throat, he whispered one last thing. A secret about the boy I went on a date with last night. A secret about why that boy would never, ever be coming home.
And that was the moment I realized my nightmare wasn't starting over. It had never actually stopped. Trust me, you'll want to hear what he did to him. Don't miss episode 3. Hit subscribe before the lights go out.